line, which is 0538-037353. 0538-037353. When the time is ripe and I pick signals from the production team, we shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the show. Please stay with us.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP will feel ya, huh? Will be feel. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302-246-319 or 0243-690-492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, welcome back. We are now going to take a look at the happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. And indeed, in the course of the week, the Center for International Maritime Affairs Ghana, that's IMaH Ghana, had cause to announce the fact that they had been granted UNCTAD observer status. Will bring you what we know about that particular event, plus the fact that indeed, GPHA also held a customer service week during which truck drivers were celebrated and honored. We will bring you these stories and more. Please enjoy.
During this year's celebration of Customer Service Week, The Port of Tema's management prioritized engagement with hauliers and truckers who transport cargo to and from the port and hinterlands. Under the theme Above and Beyond, which underscores the Port Authority's vision of supporting and championing innovation within the cargo trucking industry, this year's celebration was characterized by a driver's derby and free health screening, among other interactive sections, all geared towards honoring cargo truck drivers whose role in the shipping value chain remains indispensable. During the derby held at the GPHA Truck Park, the director of the Port of Tema, Sandro Poku, highlighted the pivotal role truck drivers play in the success of the port business.
Without you, our ports would be mere gateways with goods stranded and businesses left waiting. Your pivotal role in ensuring that the logistics chain operates smoothly cannot be overstated. You go far beyond the wheel, providing essential services that keep our economy alive.
While recounting key developments within the port setup aimed at enhancing customer experience, she touched on the truck and trailer identification and inspection process being implemented to guarantee the safety of drivers and goods in transit.
The ongoing truck and trailer identification and inspection process conducted by ACVL is one of several initiatives we have put in place. This is not just about compliance, it is about ensuring that both goods and drivers are safe on our roads, contributing to a more efficient and secure supply chain.
On his part, the Executive Secretary of the Joint Association of Port Transport Union, Ibrahim Musa, praised the efforts of the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority for being at the helm of reforms within his organization, which have not only improved the welfare of members, but also injected efficiency in the conduct of their business.
To all our members, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and our Ghanaian Union representatives, we thank you very much for the effort you have made in driving our members to this occasion. On this note, I want to thank the ports and thank the Director of Ports and say a big ayiko to all of us here. Thank you, and God bless us all.
The drivers were also given safety tips on their conduct within the port environment by the Port Fire and Safety Manager, Alfred Okai.
The security and the fire are going to be strict on the movement or the speed in the port. So drivers, we want to call upon you to help us also help you. So remind yourself that speed limit is 30 kilometers. We also want to remind you that it is prohibited for a driver to drive at the same time making call or driving and having earphone in there. It is even against DVLA laws.
Representatives from the SIC Insurance PLC, Autoconsult Ventures Limited ACVL, the Shippers Councils of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, among other allied stakeholders, were present to share in solidarity with the truck drivers.
SIC as a company is very proud to be associated with you. Over the years, you have done a very, very big time business with us based on integrity. We have actually supported you, and you have also been very truthful to us. And in this interaction, we have done a lot of informal research with you. And our conclusion in the research is that votre travail est très difficile, mais vous êtes content. We are working with JAPTU your leadership.
In collaboration with Jireh Eye Clinic, GPHA's Health Services Department also provided free health screenings and discounted treatment for more than 100 drivers. This included eye tests, blood pressure and blood sugar tests, among others. A principal nursing officer of the GPHA clinic in Tema, Juliana Kodo, underscored the relevance of the exercise and urged the drivers to have regular checkups.
I see it as something very important and a good thing to be done, because most of these drivers are so busy that they don't even go to the hospital. the fear and the waste of time some of them think it will cause them. But bringing this exercise to their doorsteps is a very good thing, and to allow most of them to come and check their sugar and blood level. Some are already aware they have the diagnosis, but they were not going for treatment or they were not taking their medication. Most of them too were not aware. And I think if this thing is done frequently, we'll be able to reduce the lot of unfortunate and preventable disease that are happening among our drivers.
Alhaji Shamsu Babayaro is chairman of the Joint Association for Port Transport Unions.
We are so much proud of what we are doing to the poor in the country, because it's like we have been, the good work we do, people have detected that. So today they have come to check our drivers, see their health. Maybe some of them have a bad vision. Today we can know, so that we let them go for treatment that can reduce accidents on the road. So in fact, we value what you are doing for us so much.
September 21 each year is marked as remembrance of Ghana's first president and renowned Pan-Africanist Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, whose impact on Ghana's ports and shipping sector is still felt today. The construction of Ghana's biggest commercial port in Tema is one of his major achievements. As the country marked the national icon's birthday 2 weeks ago, the Port Ladies Association of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority organized an inter-port cooking competition as part of activities to promote harmony among female workers at Ghana's ports and also showcase Ghana's food heritage. Held at the GPHA Senior Staff Clubhouse in Tema, the event saw participants clad in their traditional outfits grouped into the two ports of Tema and Takrade, with the former coming out on top. The Marketing and Public Affairs Manager at the Port of Tema, Abna Sewa Opokufosu, who is the Vice President of the Port Ladies Association, told Iron Port more.
Cooking is not just about sustenance. It's also about expressions of our identity and also ways of passing on our heritage to the next generation. And this time around, we took two staples, that is rice and maize. And each Port Ladies Association was tasked to prepare a 3-course meal with these two staples.
The president of the Hospitality Alliance Ghana said this program, when sustained and harnessed, can become a national cultural symbol.
I saw, I think, a step higher than what I normally expect, in that it was a traditional thing. It was put on Kwame Nkrumah's day, notwithstanding they added the cultural enactments to it, and I think that makes it. What is culture if it's just food? But it's our way of life, and I saw that our dressing, our dances, our traditions, and all those things. And I think this is a beautiful program that when harnessed properly and produced well, this one can sell in the theaters and it will feel like 3 or 4 enactments in a day. It's a beautiful one.
The Center for International Maritime Affairs Ghana, CIMAG, a globally recognized think tank dedicated to maritime policy research, advocacy, and education, has been granted an observer status to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, at its 71st annual section held at Palais des Nations, Geneva, from 16th to 20th September 2024. The UNCTAD Trade and Development Board granted CIMAG observer status and agreed to its classification as a special category. According to the Executive Director of CIMAG, Albert Derek Fiatui, the prestigious recognition acknowledges CIMAG's expertise and contributions to blue ocean economy, aligning with UNCTAD's goal and promote sustainable development and equitable trade.
To be recognized as part of that body is a big one. And we are excited as an organization that we've been able to achieve such a feat. What that does for us is that it has given us a lot of credibility and visibility in the United Nations system and also the global trade structure. And so, as an institution, we are happy that eventually we've been granted this status. With this new recognition, we are going to have access to a lot more funding organizations, because we are not just a research and advocacy think tank, we are also an operational think tank. And that means that we are able to undertake projects with support and permission from the government of Ghana and also international organizations.
He said they are thrilled to join the UNCTAD community, which further solidifies their commitment to shaping global maritime policies and promoting Africans' interest.
It's difficult for me to mark the work we do ourselves. So they have done that, and they think that we have been able to do what is expected of us. They have looked at our works, our records, our accounts, and also the research outputs, and they have decided to accept us into their system, to train us and give us even more capacity building to do better than we are doing now. And that is what we are also looking out for. We cannot say that we have it all. We are still learning, and we hope that with these leanings and inclinations, we are going to achieve more to better the maritime industry and the blue economy, not just in Ghana, but the whole of Africa and the world.
All right, so those were happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. We say congratulations to CIMAG and all the staff there, led by Albert Derrick Fiatui. We're not going for the word or phrase of the day. Remember, the word or phrase of the day has been fashioned to bring you up to speed with the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. Today's word or today's phrase is out of gauge cargo. Out of gauge cargo.
Out-of-gauge cargo describes break bulk cargo, which is not suitable for stuffing into a standard container due to the cargo dimensions, and which requires the use of special equipment like flat racks, platforms, or open-top containers.
All right, so welcome. We are now zooming into our discussion proper tonight. Tonight, our discussions in twofold. First of all, we would come your way with something from the International Maritime Hospital. We are in the month of October, and everybody knows in Ghana or the world over that when it's October, it's Breast Cancer Month. And one organization or one institution that has stood out in all of this is the International Maritime Hospital. They've been at the forefront of sensitizing and educating the Ghanaian populace on how to take care of themselves in matters relating to breast and breast cancer and their health as far as breast is concerned. They've been here on several occasions, and today, again, this year, 2024, they are back to tell us what they have for us as an institution and what the benefits are that we can all, enjoy from the programs that they've outlined for the year of October this year, 2024. So it gives me pleasure to introduce to us this evening Dr. Charles Labi, General Surgeon at International Maritime Hospital. This is not his first time on the show. Welcome again, Doc.
Thank you, Mona.
We're grateful to have you once again.
Thank you.
And also in the studios, Dr. Becky Ambonsa Apia, a radiologist and head of clinical services, also at the International Maritime Hospital. Doc, welcome.
Thank you so
also
much.
Not your first time, so
thank you.
I mean, as family, we're grateful to have you once again. So let me begin with you, Dr. Becky, and then find out from you how prevalent this incident or this, issue of breast cancer is in our country, Ghana, and if you can zero in on our area, our catchment area, that's Tema.
All right. Thank you very much. So we know that breast cancer is the most common cancer amongst women globally. That is a fact. And every year, about 2.3 million people, women, are diagnosed with breast cancer.
Right.
The men are not saved. About 1% of men also do get breast cancer. When you come to Ghana, every year, over 4,500 women are diagnosed with breast cancer.
Right.
In our hospital, for instance, International Maritime Hospital, last year, we had about 8% of the women who were screened for breast cancer who came to do mammogram. about 8% of the findings were suspicious of cancer.
Right.
And for them, we had to go on and do further studies to ensure that they had it or they didn't have it. Out of that, we had about 22 women testing positive and undergoing treatment.
22 for this year?
Last year.
Last year.
Currently, we have about 42 women.
42?
Yes, currently.
Okay. All right, so let me come to Dr. Labi and find out from you some of the most common symptoms that Ghanaian women and men should be aware of, and how they can conduct self-examinations. Apart from, we understand that you have to, you know, feel the this and that. There's a lump or something. What else should we be looking
out for? Thank you. So, breast cancer is often asymptomatic. Usually, the early disease doesn't come with symptoms.
Right.
But when it progresses, you tend to identify a lump. And a new lump is the commonest finding when it comes to the symptoms of breast cancer.
Right.
Right. So, with the lump, it's often painless. You will not feel any pain. But because it's painless, people don't really pay attention to it. So, before they realize, it has grown to become bigger. And I want to state that about 90% of the lumps are not cancerous.
Okay.
So somebody will come to you that, oh, doc, I have a lump in my breast. You have to assure the patient that, oh, having a lump does not mean that you have a cancer. Yeah. So apart from the lump, which is the commonest finding or the symptom, there is also some kind of skin changes. So with the skin changes, either you have an orange peel appearance, that's like some minute pores. If you look at the outward appearance of an orange peel.
Right.
And then apart from that too, you have some redness or thickening of the skin. And when you look at the nipple, either it becomes ulcerated or it discharges blood. And it's often just one-sided. And also when it progresses to, you can have an ulceration or a sore around the nipple.
Right.
Yeah, so these are some of the symptoms you can look out for, even though it's often asymptomatic.
Right. What are the risk factors?
Yeah, so with the risk factors, we group them into two, modifiable and non-modifiable factors. With the modifiable factors, you can do something about them. With the non-modifiable, you can't really do much.
When you say modifiable factors, what can you break it down for?
Right, so the modifiable factors, you are looking at physical inactivity, you are looking at alcohol intake, you are looking at obesity, because it's known that adipose tissues will convert androgens into estrogen, which is a form of estrogen. And then the take here is that estrogen, prolonged exposure to estrogen will lead to breast cancer. So for instance, the female breast is hormone sensitive. I say it's hormone sensitive in the fact that when you take a boy and a girl at the age of, let's say, 11, once puberty starts, there is female secondary sexual characteristics. So when it happens that way, the female will tend to have estrogen.
Right.
So with time, because the estrogen has receptors in the breast will tend to become bigger. But you realize that for the guy under the nipple, it will not become bigger compared to the female.
Right.
And then the other phenomenon you look out for, it's the fact that during menses, you tend to have pain because of estrogen effects on the breast. And then also during pregnancy, the first 10 weeks of pregnancy, because of estrogen and progesterone, the breast starts getting bigger.
Right.
And then also you look at menopause. So at menopause, because the estrogen level is down, the breast tends to reduce in size. So the whole thing about modifiable risk factors has to do with what you can do to reduce your exposure to estrogen. So now we look at combined oral contraceptives.
Right.
So if you are taking combined oral contraceptive, it contains either progesterone or estrogen together. So once it happens, it means that the effect of those two hormones is prolonged.
Right.
So the effect of the estrogen will lead to that. And then I talked about the physical inactivity and all that. And then sometimes when you are exposed to radiation and some chemicals.
All right, so just an additional, a quick one before I move to Dr. Becky, and find out from you, which class or age group are more at risk of, getting breast cancer?
Okay, so averagely, the people who have been diagnosed with breast cancer in Ghana, it's about 48 years, relative to the white people, which is about 62 years.
Okay.
Right, so we look at, just to tie it down to the risk factors, which are non-modifiable.
Right.
For instance, if your menses will start early, that's early menarche, before 11 years, or if your menopausal age will go beyond 55.
Right.
If you're a woman, no offense, you don't get pregnant before the age of 25, your risk of getting breast cancer also increases.
Right. Does that have anything to do with the sucking of the breast by, babies or something? I'm not talking about men, please, doc. I'm not talking about men. I'm talking about the babies. If you say if one does not give birth by age 25 or 23, the fellow stands a risk. Does it have anything to do with the children or the babies that they give birth having to suck the breast or something?
Yeah, so it has to do with fluctuations of estrogen. Okay. Like I talked about, the prolonged effect of estrogen.
Right.
So once you are not able to get pregnant, you still have that constant effect of estrogen. But once you get pregnant, then you have the fluctuations of estrogen.
Okay. All right. So let me come to Doc and Dr. Becky and find out from you what specific services are available at the International Maritime Hospital for people, men and women alike, who are seeking a screening for breast cancer.
So all throughout October, we are opening our doors to everybody on Tuesdays and on Saturdays between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. You can walk in for a free clinical breast examination. In there, we're going to educate people as well, because we also advocate for self-breast examination, knowing your breast and knowing how to examine it, so that if there's any change, you can pick it up early and then bring it to the hospital. Because we always say early detection, early emphasis is on early detection. Yeah. So we want everybody to come in once a year, come into the hospital Tuesday or Saturday, get screened. Also, we have discounted packages on imaging.
Right.
We have about 25% discount on breast mammogram. And if you do get a breast mammogram, you get your follow-up ultrasound for free. And then you have another 20% discount on breast ultrasound.
Right.
Again, we have gift vouchers. We are thinking about everybody out there, those who think that they might not be able to come.
Yeah.
We expect that their loved ones and friends would buy some of these gift vouchers and give to them, so that it will motivate them to come in and get their examination and their imaging done, as well as see a specialist and talk to the specialist.
Right. You mentioned, early detection. How important is that in the scheme of things as far as this whole phenomenon of breast cancer is concerned?
Yes. Early detection is key in the management of breast cancer. This is because breast cancer, like other cancers, tend to spread. The more you wait, the more the cells divide and start attacking your tissues locally and then spreading to other areas. So when you find it early and you are able to eliminate that, you are able to get a cure. Unfortunately, for us in Ghana, we have about 50% of women who are diagnosed presenting late. And so they end up dying. But those who come in early, there's about 90% survival, the survival rate, yes, of getting cure if you do present early. So early detection is always key, and that is why we always join hands with other societies worldwide to create awareness. People still think that breast cancer is a myth. It can't happen to me. Nobody I know has breast cancer, or the person who has breast cancer did something that is why the person has breast cancer. So we want to create the awareness. We want to bring the education to the doorstep of everyone, so that we can help save the society.
What accounts for the inability of people to report early or to detect early, to come for screening early? Is there a particular reason? Have you sought to find out?
There are a compound of reasons that people give. Some people think that I don't have time to go and get myself screened. Meanwhile, they don't take the time to also examine themselves to pick up any. It's important to get to know how your breasts look. Once a month, stand in the mirror, look at how the breasts look for any changes, examine it. Some people don't do that. It's a bother to them. Some people genuinely also do not have access to such things that we are doing, free breast screening or discounted services. They just don't have access. Maybe it's because of money or because of distance. But yes, there are genuine reasons like that. But in all of this, we try in the month of October to bring everything to the doorstep of people so that there's no excuse. You have to be part of it.
Right. Let me come to Dr. Labi. What treatment options are available for women who are diagnosed with breast cancer?
Right.
Or women and men alike, so to speak.
Okay, right. So the first thing I want to establish is that management or treatment of breast cancer, it's multidisciplinary. So it's not just one person, one doctor going to see through it till the end. So it starts with a radio oncologist after the diagnosis is established. And then with a multidisciplinary team, apart from the radio oncologist, you have a pharmacist, a surgeon, and then a nurse navigator. I want to stress that because in IMaH, we have nurse navigators, those who will guide you throughout your journey once you enter the hospital and then you've established the diagnosis of breast cancer. So, right, once that is done, we want to also say that it's not a one-size-fits approach to the management of breast cancer. So somebody's treatment might be different from another person's treatment. Now, the treatment options include surgery. Surgery can be conservative or total breast removal. With the breast conservation, the lump is removed with a rim of tissue around it. That's what we call the wide local excision. And then with the mastectomy, where you remove the entire breast. And then after that, there is radiotherapy. So radiotherapy is seeking to remove the residual breast cancer cells that were not seen during the surgical procedure. And then we have the hormonal therapy and then chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is what people are always afraid of because there will be hair loss and all that. So that's basically the treatment options available. But even though you do surgery, there is always a chance of breast augmentation. You can always augment your breast, and we offer that particular service.
How do you augment the breast?
So either you...
The plastic surgery?
Yeah, plastic surgery, exactly.
Okay. All right. Let me come to Dr. Becky and find out from you. In the scheme of things, when a patient is diagnosed, the psychological trauma alone is something that can weigh the fellow down terribly. What role does the family have to play, to ameliorate, help, so to speak, ameliorate the situation and help the fellow go through the treatment?
Very, very important role. If you speak to any breast cancer survivor, that person is likely to highlight the role that the family played because they are afraid of the surgeries and all of that, but they're also afraid of sometimes rejection. Feeling like they are not part of the family, feeling stigmatized, feeling like they are not whole again because they've lost a certain part. So if you have the support of especially the husbands, the children, mothers, fathers, everybody in the family, giving them assurance that they are in with them, taking part in their hospital visits, being by their sides while they receive their treatment. It goes a long way to help them to heal. So it's very, very important.
Okay. So let me stay with you briefly, and then we are getting to wrap up right now. And there seem to be, you mentioned earlier that some people think there are myths around it. and that they cannot have or contract, what do we call it, breast cancer. Can you break this particular myth and explain to people why, you know, it is something that can occur and happen to anybody at all?
Yes, I'm going to take part of that, and I'll let Dr. Labi
also come in, absolutely.
Yes, I'm going to take some myths surrounding imaging, especially mammogram.
Right.
So you have a myth like mammogram is so painful. Thereby, people think that if I go in there, they are going to cause pain. So I will not even go and screen. But mammogram is very, very important because it detects some of the lumps that palpation alone or touching or feeling alone cannot see. And then there are also very small, tiny dots that we call calcifications.
Right.
And we know that when we find these in the breast, there's a likelihood of there being cancer.
Right.
So mammogram helps to pick these ones. So it's important to do mammogram. So it's not painful.
Right.
What may be painful to me may not be painful to you.
Exactly.
But the imaging itself, the procedure itself, is not painful. It's uncomfortable a bit because we need to spread the breast to give it large surface area so that the x-rays can penetrate and we can see what is inside the breast. So mammograms are not painful.
Right.
Some people also think that mammogram increases your chances of getting cancer. The dose that is given during a mammogram is very, very small and is targeted at just the breast. And we do know that the dose that you receive when you get one mammogram is equivalent to you sitting there and getting background radiation for about 2 months anyway. So there's low risk in doing mammograms. Some people also think that I did a mammogram last year and it was negative, so I don't need to do it again this year. What mammogram does is not prevention, it's detection. So the fact that you were clear last year does not mean that you are still clear. It is very important that you go in and get it done again. When you're about 40 years, that is.
Well, there are those who also believe that, I'll come to Dr. Lavi to add that, but let me find, there are those who also believe that, or who say that the women, wives, should allow their husbands play with their breasts. Does that help in any way?
It helps in one sense.
Okay.
The fact that whilst you are playing with their breasts, it's likely that you know your wife's breast. So when there's any change in the breast, as you are playing with the breast, you are going to pick upon that change.
Right.
That is the import of husband's role, in not because you playing with it. Yes, it is all geared towards detection.
Right.
Because you know how the breasts look like, and you will pick up any change.
Okay. Dr. Lavi, can you add up? And then
so
we'll take our final.
There is this misconception that only women with family history of breast cancer are at a risk. So you see somebody who will present to you at the clinic, and then there will be a lump, or you establish a diagnosis of breast cancer. And then once you tell the person will tell you that, oh, none of my family members has breast cancer.
Right.
It's actually a myth, because most women diagnosed with breast cancer do not have a family history of breast cancer. And then there is this other misconception that once you have a lump, then it means that it's cancerous. About 90% of the lumps in the breast are not cancerous. You can have fibroadenomas and all that. And then people will also, because I'm a surgeon, people will come to you that, oh, once I undergo surgery, then it means I'm going to die early. In fact, in the management of breast cancer, surgery seems to be very important, because at least it can offer about 100% cure. So people shouldn't have that misconception.
How expensive is breast cancer treatment? Would you oblige us?
Yeah, so in terms of treatment, I was saying that it's often personalized, right? So chemotherapy or hormonal therapy, surgery, which can be breast conservation, or mastectomy, that's removal of the entire breast, and then immunotherapy. But these ones, because IMaH has partnership agreement with some other companies, it's actually subsidized. And the cost of surgery too, it's subsidized.
Right. All right. So let me come to you, Dr. Becky, finally, to find out from you, during such months in October, where you are agog with activities all over the place, are there any institutions that you collaborate with to ensure that the month is effectively utilized, so that you are able to reach as many people as possible in terms of screening and all that. And if you can also outline some of the programs you've lined up for this month, so that we can wrap up.
Okay, thank you for that. So the major, it's not an institution, it's a society, the Breast Society of Ghana. They have decided to champion breast cancer awareness in Ghana. So we are all part of it, and we go with them to do all that they need to do. This year, our theme is Stop the Stigma, Be Supportive.
Okay.
Stop the stigma, be supportive. We also have partnerships with companies like Roche Ghana. They provide us with educational materials, training for us when we go out on outreach.
Right.
We have some few companies like personal people would say that I want to help you to be able to reach more people. I want to be able to help you to go deeper and go and talk to these people, go and examine them. So usually we will just take the whole team with everything, our consumables, a bed, screens, everything. We just go set up in the church, in the market, in companies, and then we do the screening for them. We've had clubs like Tema, Leo Club, supporting us with educational materials and volunteers to help us when we go out on outreaches.
Right. Okay. So before you go, I think there's a message from IMaH that would want viewers to see if we, the production team can rule it briefly, and then we wrap up.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. As part of its campaign to increase awareness of breast cancer, International Maritime Hospital is offering free clinical breast exam to the general public. Come and get checked by skilled professionals for breast cancer. This service is available on Tuesdays and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. throughout the month of October 2024. Big or small, save them all. Make a smart call and get screened for breast cancer. Catch our outreach train in selected churches throughout this month of October for free breast exam. Call the number on your screen and find out where we will be each Sunday. You thought that was all? It doesn't end there. International Maritime Hospital is offering a whopping 25%, yes, 25% discount on mammogram and ultrasound scan. Valid throughout the month of October 2024. Make a plan and book that scan. Grab yourself and your loved ones highly discounted breast screening vouchers valid till the end of November 2024. Have a heart to do your part. Call or WhatsApp us for further details and get yourself a 40% discount on each voucher. No one should face breast cancer alone. At International Maritime Hospital, we fight together against breast cancer. IMaH, we serve, we care.
All right, so that was something on the International Maritime Hospital, the month of October. That's, Pink October, they call it. And we had in the studios Dr. Charles Labi, General Surgeon, the International Maritime Hospital, as well as Dr. Becky Amponsa Apia, radiologist and head of clinical services, also at the International Maritime Hospital. Thank you very much, docs, for coming. We appreciate you. I am sure that in the course, as the month unfolds, you definitely have time to come back again and then tell us all the new things that you are doing. Right. We are grateful to you so much. We are grateful to you.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome. So, viewers, this is our import here on Metropolitan Television. That's the first segment of the program. We're going to go for a quick break. When we return, we'll zoom into the discussion proper. Please stay with us.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefi. Goil, good energy. Yeah,
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, welcome back. This is our report here on Metropolitan Television, and we are back in the second leg of our discussion for tonight. And tonight we are taking a look at how to promote professionalism and indeed secure the welfare of truck drivers who ply our transit corridors here in Ghana. And this topic comes about because up until the completion of the reform process for the trucking sector of the port operations, the sector appeared quite disorganized and difficult to engage properly at the policy level. Now, we are seeing the new phase of the trucking sector that is further energized by a number of bold initiatives. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to take a look at some of the people behind this transformation that has impacted or affected the trucking sector in our country, particularly when it has to do with those involved in the transit business. It gives me pleasure tonight to introduce to us Mr. Eugene Ohiming, who is Head of Research and IT at the Joint Association of Port Transport Unions, that's JAPTU, Ghana. Good evening, sir, and welcome.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. And also with us in the studios, the Ogboro himself, Mr. Ibrahim Musa, who is the Executive Secretary of the Joint Association of Port Transport Unions, JAPTU, Ghana. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening and thank you for
not
having
your first
us.
time. You, not your first time. Is this your first time?
No.
Okay, I think, we spoke on the show before. Absolutely. Right, so we're going to find out from you some of the things that you are doing, where we were, and how come that, and where we are at the moment. Then we'll zoom into the future, where we are going.
All right.
So I think you are best suited, Mr. Musa,
okay.
To respond to that.
Right. Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah.
and then good evening to our cherished viewers.
Absolutely.
It's almost impossible to talk about the accomplishment of JAPTU as an entity without paying tribute to the visionary leadership of General Manager, Marketing and Corporate Affairs.
Mama One.
Mama One.
Mrs.
Real
Esther
one, yes.
Jebidonko, yes.
Madam Esther
Right,
Jebidonko, because
sure,
to be able to rally at that time 11 individual associations who have worked over the period in silos and have come to be comfortable doing things alone, getting them to rally around a common vision was not an easy task. So whatever gains JAPTU is making today, we give nearly all the credit to Auntie Esther for staying the course and believing in the potential of the sector. Now back to the substantive question itself.
Yes.
JAPTU, as some may be aware, is actually the abbreviation for the Joint Association of Port Transport Union. Now our mandate as a union is to provide a defined structure for the operations within the trucking sector of the port. We're supposed to help bring some standards and then coordinate the activities within the industry and provide some space for predictability, which will be useful for other stakeholders to plan and work with us. Most importantly, as an umbrella body, JAPTU serves as a conduit in policy discourse and also in conducting advocacy actions to ensure that we are able to create the required congenial environment for operators in the trucking sector to thrive. You and I will admit that the plight of a driver in this country is one of the worst among the working class in this country. These are people who spend lots of hours under very difficult conditions and are poorly remunerated. And yet, the passion and the commitment they exhibit towards ensuring that this economy runs is something that we don't think has been properly acknowledged. This is where JAPTU takes its inspiration from, that this must change. We need to position the union in a manner that offers drivers that safety net, gives them the assurance to focus on their primary responsibility, which is to move cargo safely and speedily to the prescribed destinations. This a driver cannot do if they are left to wonder as to how they are going to secure their future. Truck owners, as we know, invest in insuring their trucks. Cargo owners even insure their cargo. But who takes care of the interests of that driver? The driver with whose skills and strength all of this thing becomes a viable business. And we think that as a union, if anybody at all has failed the drivers, we at JAPTU would stand up for them. We at JAPTU will put together packages to give drivers the peace of mind to focus on their work. These packages, I'm sure, as we go on, will give you details. But in essence, we just want to assure drivers that under the competent leadership of our chairman and his passion, Alhaji Shamsu, we are introducing a lot of positive change and reforms within this sector to ensure that in the next few months, we're going to change the face of the trucking industry. We don't see why, for example, the shipping crew work in a very dignified environment. So with the airline crew, why must this be different for the road transport driver? These are the things that this JAPTU leadership is determined to change, and we are working aggressively to ensure that we give drivers that which they deserve. I'm sure moving forward, we'll give you some more details.
Yes, I'll come to Mr. Ohiming, but I'll still stay with you to tell us briefly your assessment of what transpired in the course of the week at the port, where the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority celebrated Customer Service Week, and JAPTU was singled out for commendation and celebrated. Can you tell us what your feeling about that is?
Yes, for us at JAPTU, we think this is an acknowledgement of the fact that we are on the right path. And we give all the credit to our drivers for believing in this leadership and for working with us. Because without them, we don't have a union. We exist to serve them, and we exist to ensure that all that is hindering their progress is removed. Now, to the celebration itself, we also want to commend the GPHA, Tema Port in particular, for noticing our efforts.
Right.
This, we feel, further energizes us to even want to do more.
Right.
Because to have put together a package that includes a health screening, we all know that our health is our wealth.
Yeah.
And if we have to move this economy first, we must first be healthy. And as part of the program for the day, there was health screening. And we will commend our members because they came out in their numbers. As at the time that the team was ready to close, we still had a backlog to clear. For us, this health screening sent a clear message to our members that just as we spend time and we have made it a part of our daily routine to check the state of our trucks before we even move them onto the road.
Right.
More importantly, we owe it to ourselves to check our health, pay particular interest in our state of health.
Right.
So that when we are moving around, we know we are ready to carry the business of the day. The Durbar itself, that was the day of celebration.
Yes.
And that was the day we had to give ourselves a standing ovation.
Right.
That look, for all the challenges that we have to endure, we have still stood strong, and we have never disappointed the port, and we have never disappointed the economy.
Right.
And it gave us the platform to also highlight the plans that JAPTU has for our members. On the day, we mentioned the welfare packages, the driver provident fund, the driver fuel procurement discount arrangement. We also talked about the driver life insurance policy. These are just teasers. We have a lot more, and I'm sure if Mr. Ohiming comes on board, he has just too many good things to say. But then the celebration itself, we say, went very well.
Right.
All those who were present were very happy. The program was well designed. The execution was excellent. The participation of our guests was super. And we think that this was reflective of our unity as an entity, and it tells us all that if we stay together, we can accomplish great things.
Right.
Drivers should just be on the lookout and believe that this vehicle is moving in the right direction, and we'll get them all to where we want to get them.
Awesome. All right, so as part of the restructurings, the transformation and innovation that you're rolling out at JAPTU, we understand that you are issuing ID cards to these drivers. I want to find out from Mr. Ohiming here how this is being done, who qualifies to hold the card, and what the benefits are to these drivers.
Well, thank you very much for the question. For the cards, we are not just issuing PVC cards.
Right.
We are issuing chip-embedded cards for these drivers. One of the challenges we were having previously is to trace drivers if there's an issue. To even trace them, sometimes a driver will come to work and there's a problem and we don't know who to even call. So as union, the leadership decided to have a very credible data at the end of the day, whereby we had to take several data points from these drivers, trickling back all the way to next of kins, children, wives, guarantors in this event. Now, every driver working around the port qualifies. It will amaze you that we have even corporate trucks even trickling in to come and register their drivers for these cards.
Right.
The benefits are enormous. One of the major benefits is to secure discount loyalty program for these drivers when they are purchasing fuel. Now, these are not just attaining some form of point. You are getting discount in real time. Since the card is chip embedded, some of these activities can be rolled out in real time.
Right.
Another benefit that the card serves the drivers is the same card, we are using this card to issue life insurance policies for these drivers. So one ID card is serving several purposes. Since the port is running or going into an e-gate system, these cards can also serve as access point for these drivers.
Right.
Now, if you don't have credible data of your members, some of these things you cannot achieve. With the able leadership of our chairman, our secretary, and the executives, they have bought into this idea of bringing technology to enhance productivity of truck drivers in Ghana and in the sub-region.
Yes.
Bear in mind, JAPTU does not only deal with Ghana drivers.
Yeah.
They deal with Burkina, Mali, Niger, Ivory Coast, Togo, and even Nigerian drivers as well.
Okay.
So this introduction of technology is just coming in to enhance. We are not coming to disrupt any activity around the port.
Right.
JAPTU is bringing a lot of value to the stakeholders and the drivers as well. So any driver working around the port qualifies for these cards. Thank you.
Are you going to share with us some figures? How many drivers are you looking at covering with the issuance of the ID cards?
Okay, we are looking at 18,000 drivers at the moment.
Across the 6 countries that you mentioned?
Across the 6 countries we are. So currently we are doing a little over 7,000. And we hope
You've
to
issued
cover
already?
This. Yes.
Okay.
And we hope to cover this as soon as possible because there are so many benefits that goes with this. And you could come around and see what is happening at the JAPTU office.
Right.
Queues of drivers wanting to acquire these cards because it's not just having some form of identity here, but we are providing serious benefits or entitlements for these drivers. You can only enjoy all these freebies when you have these cards. Now, we are looking at even some form of integration with some of the stakeholders.
Okay.
And in future, we are looking at even bringing some form of marketplace for freight forwarders, shippers, and drivers, where a freight forwarder can request for a truck. Currently, JAPTU has a very interactive website where you can even request for a truck as we speak.
Yes.
You can go in there and even check prices of fuel, real time. So JAPTU in this form now, as the drivers call, the new JAPTU. There's a lot happening, and we hope every driver would come and then obtain his ID. Thank you.
I just want to play the devil's advocate that you are issuing me a card as a truck driver, and I'll enjoy some subsidy in terms of fuel purchases. And I have my boss, who is my principal or who is my truck owner, who is sitting there and giving me money for the road and how much fuel I'm going to be able to use along the corridor on my trip. Now, I sit back and I think that, I'm going to cash in on this, freebie that's going to emanate from the subsidy that I'm going to enjoy in terms of fuel purchases. My boss says and hears that, oh, okay, this guy has been issued with a card where he gets some, discounts in terms of buying. So why don't I slash his fuel money? Wouldn't there be that kind of friction?
No, if I can come in, it will not, because this discount we are negotiating for is a discount that goes to the card holder.
Okay.
The discount is linked directly to the holder of the card.
The name on the card.
The name on the card.
Okay.
It is a way of rewarding the driver for picking to use that particular oil marketing company.
Right.
So if there's a truck owner who thinks they are going to shortchange the driver by giving them less,
yes,
the driver will still get the same fuel for you.
Yes.
For example, if they need a drum to move from point A to point B, they will still need a drum. What the change here is that the driver is being given a token for buying the drum.
Right.
So if you, a truck owner, decide to give me less, I will buy just as much fuel as you are giving me for, but we will still not complete the journey.
Right.
This is a program that has been so well thought through to ensure that the driver is rewarded, because we don't want to remain in that state where drivers are on the road and a good part of their mind is on other things such as, what does my future look like?
Right.
This is the reason why some drivers are pushed to do journeys in shorter periods, hoping to come back, do more, and earn a little bit. Why are they doing all of this? Because the driver has not been assured that, look, you have an institutionalized arrangement that is going to safeguard your future. We want, you see, before you can regulate this space, first of all, you need to get the mind of the driver to believe that, look, somebody has my back.
Right.
Do you understand me? Then you can now incrementally introduce other relevant capacity building and professionalization efforts. But if you don't take care of their basic needs, a driver has worked for 20, 30 years. For some reason, maybe the truck owner is late. The family sell the truck. The driver is left to his fate. These are things that we at JAPTU now don't think should happen.
Right.
The ID card that we are introducing, beyond the fact that we need to know who our members are to help us plan and target them properly with interventions that we're bringing out, one of the things that this ID card also does is that it helps us to know who is doing what transaction in the space.
Right.
We have had issues of cargo diversion. Why? Because people go into the system, they are not properly registered. You don't know who is doing what. Anytime a truck goes missing, the whole system focuses on JAPTU.
Yes.
We are doing these things to ensure that there is foolproof traceability. Because in the registration, our IT team have so designed this system that you don't only come register as a driver. You also bring 2 guarantors.
Right.
And you do this registration through a parent association,
Right.
who is the affiliate association. So we have multiple layers of what? Traceability.
Right.
It makes JAPTU a more competent filter in the space.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, part of what we are giving to the industry is also security. We want to ensure that once your truck picks cargo from the ports of Ghana, you can go to sleep. The cargo will be delivered.
Right.
If for any reason we have to trace, with a click of a button, we should be able to give you all the information that will help you trace whoever you need to trace. This we can achieve if our members are not registered.
Right.
Fortunately, there's technology. And our brothers here are working so hard to make sure that we are working with the latest level of technology.
Right.
The system we have has even artificial intelligence built in it to the extent that we are able to profile risk levels of what? Transactions.
Wow. That's quite advanced.
We have done this. We have, raised red flags. We share the information with SIC. We share the information with customs. All of this is to ensure that if anybody brings their cargo to the ports of Ghana, they can go to sleep. We are bringing real value not only to the drivers, but to the maritime industry as a whole. Agents are going to benefit immensely from this. Customs is going to benefit because these issues of diversions, once we register our members properly and we have all the cooperation, it becomes impossible for a truck that is not on our radar to pick a cargo.
Right.
And we think these are real value we will be giving to shippers.
Absolutely.
These are things that we are doing to show that if there is any port in the sub-region where you can go and do business and go to sleep and be sure that what has to be delivered is delivered. Then you must work with the ports of Ghana.
Right.
These are tangible values. You understand? And we think that the competition in the sub-region is heating up.
Right.
We, as a trucking sector, want to operate in a manner that will become a real asset.
Right.
An asset that compels a shipper to choose the ports of Ghana. So it's not just about, you understand, being a union.
Right.
We understand the ecosystem we are operating in, and we want to deliver on our mandate to the best of our ability. And we have a competent IT team. IT team that is abreast with trends in the industry, and we want to utilize all of that. So all we need is that cooperation, that trust, that belief. If there's anybody who is observing and they feel there's something we can do better, that is the beauty of collaboration.
Right.
You understand? So that eventually we are delivering something that we are all proud of. This is not a JAPTU medal to take.
Right.
This is an industry medal, and we must all be determined to make this project succeed.
So a success. All right. Are there particular OMCs that you are working with?
Yes, of course. We are not here to more or less
advertise absolutely
for these OMC, but then we are
mindful of the fact that Ghana's number one leading oil leading company.
Obviously, they are on the table, but
yes. So we are working with them closely. We are not even just creating discount cards. We are creating some form of merchant arrangement where these drivers can walk in to these filling stations and even withdraw money. Because we are linking their mobile money wallets, their bank account to these ID cards because they are NFC enabled.
Right.
So a driver can just walk into these stations and even deposit money on his card and then withdraw money as well. So we are trying to bring some form of value to the driver, to the stakeholder, and to all the people in the ecosystem.
Yes.
We, as I said earlier, the load board is something that is going to bring a lot of change because the leadership made us conduct a rigorous research to find out the pain point for our agents.
Right.
And in the chain or in a scheme of affairs or the route to market,
the
agents are the people requesting for the trucks. And one of the things they said, they need reliable and credible drivers.
Drivers, right.
That is what the union is doing now. Coming up, filtering, and making sure the drivers we give out to these agents
are professionals.
Professionals.
With appropriate expertise and experience.
Exactly. So we even have a lot of package as far as training is concerned for these drivers as well. Thank you.
Yeah, today we are constrained for time, and that's why we've not activated the phone lines for you to call. And I can see some of you have started calling the WhatsApp line, but unfortunately today we cannot take calls because our program started late because of one or two HS here and there, and so we are sorry, apologize sincerely, we cannot do that. We'll take a few messages for you, but for calls, I don't think that we have that luxury of time today. Please pardon us. You mentioned insurance. Can you tell us what this insurance policy for the drivers is about?
Okay, so we have two main type of insurance we are looking at. The life insurance, which is one of them, whereby a driver is entitled to some form of package at the end of his service. If you say at the end of his service, in Ghana we have ages where employees shed off the space. But it's rather unfortunate or fortunate for the drivers that some even go beyond 70 and even 75. So we have a scheme where if you attain a certain age, there's a package that is being given to you.
Right.
Then we also have health insurance packages for these drivers as well. So these are the two main. And there's even a third one. There's a provident fund also for these drivers that we have negotiated for with the able leadership of our chairman, Alhaji Samsu, and then able executives.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, so yes, let me come to...
Yes, and that's also to add a little bit. You realize that, like I said earlier on, truck owners will insure their trucks. Cargo owners insure their cargo.
Yes.
But who insures the driver?
Right.
There are times that drivers become critically ill or permanently disabled in their line of duty. As things stand now, when such an unfortunate incident happens, the driver only has God to look up to. Part of what the union has brought on board is to have discussions with the insurance company to say that, look, we are matching all our members to your company to procure insurance. And the incentive that we are going to trade off on is that once they insure their vehicle with you, you're going to offer them a life insurance cover. As an addendum, something that the driver doesn't have to pay anything for. But because we have mobilized the numbers and we're bringing you business, this is what we're expecting in exchange. And if you're looking at the population that this is serious business for any insurance company that is worth their salt to grab.
So in this whole scheme of things, we have oil marketing companies who are to benefit. We have insurance companies that are also benefiting.
That's the beauty of what JAPTU is doing. So that in all of this, you know that as a driver, you're driving, you are very careful, but you know that in the event of the unexpected, you are still covered. We're looking at a sum assured of not less than 40,000. That is what we're demanding from the partner who come on board. So that if anything happens, you're permanently disabled, you are critically ill, this is something you take. And this is aside the Provident Fund. You understand? And we're doing all of these things to give the driver that peace of mind. Drivers are sacrificing so much and are getting so little. We think it's about time. As a matter of fact, it's long overdue that drivers get what they deserve. And we at JAPTU will ensure
that they get that.
And I want to emphasize that we will ensure that they get this. We will ensure that a driver who is with JAPTU will feel proud to be a truck driver. Because our contribution to the economy cannot be measured. And we don't think this very sensitive population should be left to wallow in such destitute. It's just unacceptable. This has to change, and we're changing it now.
Great. Let's do some messages now. This one says it's good to Mohammed Shaibu Mohammed in Ashaiman says it's good to finally see some attention being paid to the welfare of truckers. For too long, we've been the backbone of the port operations, but have had little support or recognition. Baba Musa in Tema says, I work in the port as dock labor. I hope these changes will address the communication issues between truckers and authorities, because delays and confusion have made our jobs even harder. Sharif in Tema says, the introduction of driver health insurance and the improved facilities will go a long way in boosting morale and productivity. It's about time we started getting these kinds of benefits. And Maxwell says, how will these reforms ensure that we, as truckers, have more consistent access to jobs and fairer pay while reducing the unnecessary waiting time that have cost us money in the past? If you can just run through.
Like I said, helping to professionalize the sector and getting drivers to act ethically and getting drivers to operate within the set regulation in the space are some of the incentives that will drive more cargo to the space. And if we do all of these properly, obviously, if people are bringing their cargo here, the job will be there for us to do. So this is why all drivers, all stakeholders need to rally around this agenda and know that, look, if we do this and perfect it, we will be the ultimate beneficiary, because everybody will be looking at the ports of Ghana to bring their cargo. We have our trucks because we expect cargo to arrive. If the port is doing its part in going on mission, trying to attract the shippers to bring their cargo here, we the ones to do the final leg, which we believe is the most crucial leg in this transaction. If we also assume a posture that gives some reassurance and some predictability and reliability to the importer, what excuse does a shipper have not to pick our ports? So it is in our interest to work together and ensure that this level of professionality is brought to the fore. And these things we cannot achieve by operating in silos. We need to rally around this agenda. We need to believe that this ID we are bringing, this critical traceability system we are introducing, is a game changer.
Right.
If we do it well, we will have more than enough cargo to carry.
Right.
So what we are doing should not be seen as a union-specific activity. It's an industry-changing event.
Right.
We think that, look, the potential of our ports are yet to be fully actualized. We, as trackers, want to energize whoever is operating in this space to know that, look, when you come to the ports of Ghana, that's where you do business.
Right.
Because it's not just the authority and all its modernization, but the tracking sector is also working as expected.
Right.
And will deliver whatever we promise.
Great. Okay, so the last one says, congratulations, Metro TV, best ever program on TV. This one is from Ni in Lashibi. Thank you very much, Ni. Unfortunately, we can't take any other questions. It says, please ask why some companies do not want their drivers to join the union, and what are they doing about it? This one is from Ransford. Unfortunately, our time is up. We cannot. Maybe some other time when you have the opportunity, you can come and tell us why some people do not want their drivers to join the union. But this is how we draw the curtain on tonight's edition of Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television, saying a big thanks to Mr. Ibrahim Musa, Executive Secretary of the Joint Association of Port Transport Unions, JAPTU, Ghana, and indeed Mr. Eugene Oheming, Head of Research and IT, also at JAPTU. Remember, the first segment of the program had to do with the Pink October, where some officials from IMaH, specifically Dr. Charles Labi, a general surgeon, and Dr. Becky Amponsa Apia, a radiologist and head of clinical services, threw some more light on breast cancer and what you should be doing. They say early detection is very, very key for a higher survival rate. And so we thank you so much for being a part of tonight's edition of the program. God willing, next week we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of your favorite Iron Port program. Remember to watch the abridged version on Ghana Television on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. My name is Kennedy Mona. We entreat you to keep watching the rest of our programs here. We wish you a super week ahead, and God bless you for watching. Good evening.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.